Got a secret play up my sleeve, a touchdown dream you won't believe. It's the game we love the most, the most. Fantasy football, anonymous, we're the ones you can always trust.
Hello and welcome to Fantasy Football's Anonymous, where we have a record of 0% people getting and staying clean on their addictions fantasy football. Nobody stays clean because we are hooked on fantasy football, and we are heading into week 3 of the NFL season. And I've got a question for you. Me and you have had we played football a couple of times against each other. If you had to guess how many times we've played one-on-one football, how many times have we played, and what do you think our all-time record is?
Ooh, how many times have we played? Well, let's see. We're in our 30s now. I feel like we played a ton in our early years.
We
We've played at
haven't
least
played a
100.
we haven't played a real game. I think maybe it was when you graduated high school. My dad was there. I remember playing in Tennessee in your driveway when we were way too old to be playing. Do you remember that? I think that's the
Yep.
last time we played like a real game. And we were probably like 18, 19.
I feel like we played it outside of your parents' house like a few years ago, maybe.
Did we play
Um,
like a real game or just throw the football?
that's true. It wasn't really real, but I don't know. Yeah,
Okay. So let's say we've played 100 games. If we played 100 games, what do you think our all-time record is?
all-time record, I would say you have you've won 70, I've won 30.
Okay,
I would
I
say.
when I first thought up this question, I thought you were going to say, "Oh, I'm 100-0," or you were going to say something silly like that. But you think 70 to 30? I think that's probably around close to it. Did you like look
Yeah.
forward to playing every week? Because I literally looked forward to playing that.
Oh,
That was
so fun. Oh my gosh.
like it was like when
And
we get together as family for Christmas or for Thanksgiving. I think that was like more fun than any present or any food or anything we were doing was getting to play one on one in the road.
absolutely. We need to do it again. And now that you've got 3 kids and I've got one on the way, I'm like, we're gonna have to get our kids doing it. We'll be all-time
Ooh,
quarterback or something. Um, yeah,
my
I can't.
my son played his first basketball game this Saturday. And he's very tall for his age. So all the other parents were like, "How old is this kid? He can't be 6 years old. He's got to be too old because he's like he's probably there's only one kid who's on his team and is his best friend who's like even close to his height, but like some of the other kids are below his chin, and he looked pretty good. He looked like a basketball player. So
That's awesome.
maybe hopefully
Next,
he's good enough to pay for his college because college
next,
is expensive.
next LeBron James, it sounds like.
Maybe not LeBron. Maybe more technical, more fundamental.
Yeah,
Maybe
more
not the
Shea.
athlete.
SGA. We'll go with that.
Okay, I'll take that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So first question: is fantasy football season already over? And are we already into it's a crapshoot because 20% of NFL quarterbacks are out heading into week 3 of the NFL season, and we're about to have just garbage stat lines from garbage teams and just chaos. Is fantasy football already over for week 3?
It's interesting because I've already seen people sending me trades. Like I've got Joe Burrow in one league that I'm in, and already multiple teams sending me trades to try and give me a quarterback, and they're trying to take my receiver, And so it's funny because you've got the people swooping in right now of like people that need the quarterbacks because they just lost, big time names like Joe Burrow, or people trying to maybe take advantage of people that, they
I
know
mean,
are a bit.
if you're in a dynasty league and you got 4 quality quarterbacks and it's a 12 or 14 team league, that person can be hurting. So, are they garbage offers or is somebody like actually sending you a fair offer kind of for Joe Burrow?
The offer for Joe Burrow, it was in a redraft league, so not a dynasty.
It was
And
Jake Browning and a 4th round pick.
no, that would be incredible. Jake Browning's a free agent, so that's good. But it was Drake London. So I've got Drake London. They wanted me to give them Drake London um, for Drake May. So this was someone targeting me, not for Joe Burrow, but targeting me because they know
Okay.
that I need a quarterback. So
Is this a super flex league?
this is not a super flex league. Nope.
Then
And
no.
I have no interest in that trade because I'm not losing Drake London for Drake May. Um, I've got Malik Neighbors in that league, by the way, which we'll talk about later. I just cannot wait to talk about him. But I've got Cam Ward in that league, and then I'm also picking up on the waiver wire Daniel Jones. So
Danny Dimes. This
that's
is
my plan
a
right now.
dynasty league and there's a starting quarterback in week 3?
No, no, this is a redraft league.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay. Okay. Oh,
yeah,
wow. Yeah. No. No.
yeah,
Okay. All right. So I have a question. Joe Burrow, he's gone it was 2 years ago when Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I think Zach Moss was their running back, was the only player kind of fantasy relevant for like the last however many weeks of the season. Is that what we're going to expect from the Bengals for the last, however many weeks we have of fantasy? 13 weeks of fantasy.
I know. I'm scared. I've got Jamar Chase in a few leagues, and I know you like him too. And I don't have T. I might have him in one league, but I don't. I am definitely nervous with Jake Browning. They brought in. I know they brought in a few quarterbacks today. It looked like to kind of give some depth and stuff, but
I didn't see
I don't
that.
know
Who did
what
they
to
bring
think.
in? Who did they bring in to meet? Tom
I
Brady?
don't rem Yeah, for real. No, I don't remember who it was. But I saw something about them bringing in some quarterbacks to kind of figure out who. Because I mean, I don't think they
It,
have anybody behind Browning.
it's tough to punt on a season this early, and so you got to try to find a way to stay competitive. I'm nervous. Jamar Chase is the only. Chase Brown might get like 25 passes out of the backfield. He's still going to get carries, but and Chase is too good not to end up with 9 targets every game. And, at least even he's not the wide receiver one. Is he even a wide receiver one? Well, if it's the way it was 2 years ago, maybe not, but definitely a huge blow. But he's not the only quarterback. We got Brock Purdy. He's out. Mac Jones came in this past week, looked good.
Yep.
Kyle Shanahan has a way of making quarterbacks look competent. The New Orleans Saints defense has a way of making quarterbacks look competent. Is Mac Jones going to be good moving forwards? Are they fine without Brock Purdy? Or
You know, I feel like Shanahan is just a genius and he just needs a guy that can play in his system. And so
yeah,
Brock Purdy, I mean, Mr. Irrelevant, like he had Trey Lance and he decided to that Brock Purdy fit better in his system and look what he's done. And I think Mac Jones, who knows, could be the
yeah.
next Brock Purdy.
I don't remember if it was John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan was telling the story that they like a few practices into training camp, they came to the owner and they're like, "We're really sorry. We we feel really bad." But I know we just traded up to draft this other guy, but the best quarterback on our team is the guy we drafted in the 7th round. I know you don't want to hear it, but he's better than I think they had Jimmy Garoppolo at the time and
Yep.
Trey Lance. He's like, he's the best guy. I know you don't want to hear that, but that's probably what's going to end up happening. And so I think it's kind of crazy that coach and GM see that early in training camp and can identify this guy as a guy because like those guys don't get a lot of reps,
hmm
and so I think that's crazy. All right, so
And
I think do we think the
and
49ers offense is affected at all? Go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say one last thing on that. I feel like it's humbling. It takes a special person to be able to see that they made a mistake because I feel like a lot of other teams they're like, hey, we paid this guy, we drafted this
Yeah,
guy early, like we have to make it work,
yeah,
and then it doesn't pan out. But
yeah.
sorry, what was your other question?
I think 49ers offense stays the same. All those players are just as good with Mac Jones at quarterback as they are with Brock Purdy. Maybe a tiny step back, but pretty much the same offense,
I would agree.
fantasy wise.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Now,
and
did
they'll get a Brandon Ayuk back at some point. They've got Christian McCaffrey, so yeah, they're gonna be fine.
Okay. Did JJ McCarthy get benched and they call it an injury? Or is he actually hurt and Carson Wentz stepping
That's a
in?
great point.
I've seen some people saying some stuff and I'm like, it's interesting because offense was rough the first 2 weeks, which I don't know if you blame JJ McCarthy for the offensive line and drop passes and all of it. Like, that's basically what McConnell was saying, but I don't know. It's a lot easier to be like he's hurt. Going to give him a couple weeks, let the offensive line get healthy, get in a groove, and bring him back in. Do you think they benched him, or do you think he's hurt for real?
It's a great question. It's kind of crazy from week one to week two with them because in the second half in week one, JJ McCarthy, I was like, because I think I talked about it last week when we were chatting. I was like, what is this guy doing? First half, second half, I'm like, oh my gosh, he might be the real deal. And then now watching him this last game, I'm like, ooh, yeah, I don't know. So you bring up a good point. Maybe they are faking it. I think he probably does have an injury. Like I feel like he took some hits and stuff that game. So
Okay, how do we rank the rest of the Vikings players moving forward with Carson Wentz? Do they take a
I
step up? Do they
I
take a
don't I
step
don't
down?
I wouldn't say they take a step up, but I will say uh that offense with Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy, like I feel like Justin Jefferson still produces. And I will say TJ Hawkinson, I sent out a trade today that may have been a bad trade, and I'm curious to see if the guy accepts. But I think I'm off the TJ Hawkinson train right now. Like the last 2 weeks have not looked good, but who knows? Maybe Carson Wentz goes to his tight ends more. I don't know.
I'll be interested to see once Jordan Addison comes back and Christian Darrisaw, because he is chipping on like almost every single play. So he's not out wide, out in the slot, first read player. He's got attention because they don't have to worry about Addison, and he's blocking a lot. So it's interesting, week 5, week 6, that's when I'd probably start to be more like moving away from Hawkinson long term. I don't know if you remember last year Mark Andrews through like week 3 had like 4 or 5 fantasy points and then ended up as the tight end 5. So I feel like Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, they're the starters. They're going to get targets, and so much of fantasy tight ends is just, do you get enough targets to be fantasy relevant? And
Do
so
you do you think so? Like in that trade scenario, do you think you would go Hawkinson or Kraft right now?
okay, this is really interesting question. So first off, I don't know if I trust anyone from the Packers offense to be a week to week guy. Tucker Kraft got 2 targets in week 1, or 2 catches in week 1 for 16 yards, and then week 2 he has 120 something yards. And I think that's more to Jordan Love has 4 or 5 competent wide receivers, 2 competent tight ends, running back. Tucker Kraft's going to have games where he has 1 target for 0 yards, like what Mark Andrews has been doing, like what Hawkinson has done. And I think Hawkinson and Mark Andrews over the course of this season, if it's a dynasty league, I probably want Kraft, but it's not by a landslide. Are you now regretting your trade offer, or are you? What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I'm debating. I'm hoping the guy hasn't accepted. I'll have to check after this. But I yeah, I liked the offer when I sent it. I felt good.
Kraft is a good player on a good offense, but I don't know if he. I think every one of those wide receivers is going to have a 30-point fantasy game this year, and I think Kraft is going to have 2 of them, and might have already had one. And that's just
hmm
kind of there's not one like alpha target hog on that offense, and so as a result, you throw to whoever's open, which is like
Yep,
efficient, good offense, and it's why the Packers look good. All
yep,
right, what do we think about the Jets offense? Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, another quarterback.
yep, yep. It's a bummer because I feel like Fields was looking good. We talked, I think week 1 about you were kind of drafting Fields in a few leagues, and I was kind of hesitant. And um, he impressed me. Like he looked better than I expected, and so
Mm-hmm.
now it's a bummer for him to go down. Tyrod been a great backup in the league, has played well, but he's also older now, and so
I think
I
it
don't know.
probably helps the value of Brees Hall because I don't think Tyrod's going to run as much, so he's going to throw a lot more dump offs, something that Brees Hall has thrived off in the past. Isn't going to get when you have a mobile quarterback like Fields. And Tyrod's mobile, but he, like you said, he's older. He's not trying to get hit 10, 15 times a game. I think the tight ends, Mason Taylor, maybe has a couple good games if Tyrod starts. Less shots down the field. Garrett Wilson's going to need to have needs a touchdown probably to be a fantasy wide receiver 1 on a weekly basis. All right, last quarterback, Jaden Daniels. I think the biggest concern when he was coming out in rookie drafts was athletic runs, Lamar type player, but is he RG3 or Lamar Jackson? Is he going to get hurt or is he going to stay healthy? Now he's got this knee injury. Does that change the way he plays? Does that change his fantasy value? Does that show what could happen moving forwards? What do you think?
These are all good questions. He's someone after his rookie season, I actually asked myself the same question. I actually have a few friends that like, I mean, a lot of people are really high on him. He had an incredible first year.
Oh, yeah.
And but I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, okay, RG3 won rookie of the year. He looked incredible. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, Kirk Cousins is the starter. And I mean, it felt like it happened overnight that Cousins took over that team. And so I was just wondering, is Daniels gonna follow into that same footstep, or is he gonna be the real deal? And yeah, this injury, it's tough because I think he does have to change his game. um who is their backup?
Marcus Mariota,
Is it still
Tennessee
Marcus? Okay,
Titan legend. I think it
because
is. I'm not sure.
he looked good last year when he filled in for him, but I didn't know if he was still there or not. Yeah, that's well, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Jaden Daniels?
I think he's incredibly talented, and you can't predict injuries. Like a lot of people say, like, "Oh, I knew he was injury prone," or "I knew he was tough," or whatever. Like you just never know, right? So Andrew Luck could have had somebody like he was bulldozing people. He could have been the one who snapped his leg sophomore year, and changed his entire career. So what happened to RG3 was really sad. I think if I remember correctly, he got hurt before his bad injury, and he was like he had a brace on and was trying to tough it out, if I remember correctly. So then you have Jaden Daniels. He's like, I'm good to go. I want to play. And the coaches are like, let's get you to 100% because we don't want career changing injuries to happen. I think Daniels is a good passer. Like I think Lamar
Hmm.
Jackson is a great passer, and he's kind of underrated as a passer at this point. I think Jaden Daniels is a great passer. I think he'll be successful, moving forwards. But fantasy wise, if he runs for 300 yards, changes his fantasy value compared to running for whatever he ran as a rookie, 600-700 yards. So
Hmm.
yeah. All right. Speaking of the Washington Commanders, so weird to say Commanders. Um, them versus the Packers. You kind of called this last week. You said you thought the Packers were like the best team in the NFC, and I was like, let's calm down. It was 1 week. It was the Bears, right? It was the Bears week one. No, who'd they play
Yep.
week one?
Or no, the Vikings play the Bears, right?
Yeah.
The Green Bay played.
Lions. They played the Lions week one.
Yes. Yep.
And so you said they were the best team in football. I was like, that's 2 weeks in a row where they looked offense, defense better than the other team, dominant beginning to end.
Yep.
Really, really good football team. What did you think fantasy wise after watching that game?
After watching the game, well, that's what kind of got me intrigued with Tucker Craft. I've got Tucker Craft in a few leagues, and he was on my bench. And I don't know. It's just interesting because tight ends are tough because Brock Bowers didn't have a good week. Uh, like Mark Andrews, if I remember correctly, didn't have a good week. You've got a lot of these guys that just did not have a good week.
Tight end position as a whole, I think Juwan Johnson, Zach Ertz are like two of the top scorers in fantasy right now, which is just not what you expected.
Yep, and in one of the leagues that I'm in, Tucker Craft I think was number one. Then you've
Well,
got like
maybe.
Laporta. Laporta's up there right now too. But
I
um,
don't think so.
d
I think
depending on scoring settings, I think
okay.
Laporta's at least top five, but at
Okay.
least in that league. But yeah, it's just interesting. And so like watching that game, I'm like, okay, is Tucker Craft now a tight end one? Like, is he someone that I need to be starting in all my leagues that I have him in?
I think
Um,
so. I think he's a tight end one and should be started in every league. That I would say I would agree with.
And then, but then, so leagues that you have like Travis Kelsey and like, do you start Tucker Craft over Travis Kelsey? Do you
Wow.
start like Trey McBride's probably over Tucker Craft right now, but like score like points wise this season, Tucker Craft after week two at least has more.
It's hard to
Um,
make season long predictions 2 weeks into the season because if one player has a huge game, it's going to average out over the season. So yeah, Trey McBride's got to be ahead of him. Brock Bowers, their offense is adjusting. He's there. He's his average depth of target is much higher this year than it was last year. It'll be interesting to
mhm,
see if he starts getting more targets and closer to the line. Michael Mayer has kind of gotten some of those for the
mhm.
Raiders. Let's talk about some more Week 3 games. What was first off? How did we do on our predictions for Week 3? I don't think we did very good.
No, we struggled. So we hit on the Packers, which I'm excited about because I feel like we were debating that for a little bit. We went with the Packers, hit on the Ravens, the Bengals, the Jags game. So this is funny because my brother-in-law Matt, he he listened to our podcast last week, and shout out to Matt if he's listening right now. But
Okay.
he texted me after our picks because he's an Ohio guy. He's a big Ohio State Buckeyes fan, and he loves the Bengals. And he texted me after our picks and was like, "Don't let Andrew talk you into picking the Jags
Ha
over the
ha ha.
Bengals." He was like, "You got to go with Burrow all day." And so I had told him, I was like, "All right, I'm not going to tell Andrew, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to change our pick."
I
And
love it.
then
I
I'll
love
talk
it.
about it in the show.
Oh,
So
that's so funny.
so
Matt,
I
you
would
saved
have
us a win there, right there.
so I was
Oh no, you
going
didn't
to.
do it. Oh
I didn't
no.
realize the picks that I made it on the website that I use, it locks it like the day before or whatever.
Gotcha.
So when I actually by the time I went to do it Sunday morning, I was like, "Oh no, I can't." But I was gonna switch it. So had we listened to Matt, we would have gotten that one right. I felt good about the Bengals too. You talked up the Jags just too much. I think you're just a Liam Cohen fan.
Oh
Um,
man. And then if you tell me Joe Burrow gets hurt in the second quarter, I'm like, oh, definitely the Jags. Ooh,
Exactly.
crazy
That
game.
wild. All right. So then you've got the Cowboys game. That was quite possibly the most insane game of the week with the changes back and forth of the Giants and the Cowboys.
The score was in the 20s with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and final score 40-37. It's wild.
Yep. And this is the game of the week for me because Malik Neighbors. Can we just talk about Malik Neighbors?
He is very good at football.
He is okay. Here's I kind of almost want to segue into another segment just about Malik Neighbors for a second because he might be my number one player in fantasy that I want. Like I know that's probably a hot take, but Jamar Chase, obviously we're only 2 weeks in, but he's without Joe Burrow. You've got like Jameer Gibbs, like you've got all these top guys, Bijan Robinson. Brock Bowers, depending on if you're in dynasty or redraft. But for me, Malik Neighbors, I mean, no matter who is at quarterback,
That I
he
think that's
produces.
the thing you just said, because it's not like he's Garrett Wilson where everyone's like he's had bad quarterback play. He's still been like a low end one, high end two, but like if he ever got a good quarterback, he could be basically Malik Neighbors, who has Russell Wilson, and last year he had who was his
Daniel
quarterback,
Jones,
and then
and then who did they have after that?
Tommy DeVito. I don't even remember who was starting for them at the end of last season, and he watching him play. Okay, when you watch Tyreek Hill play in his prime, he got so much separation. He wasn't
Yep.
like necessarily like the biggest route technician or like the go high point the ball type guy, but he got a lot of separation like consistently. Um, Malik Neighbors looks like that, but he also is just an uber athlete, high pointing the ball, just out battling everyone. And so if you can get that open, your quarterback just has to put the ball kind of close to you. He looks like the best wide receiver. Like I would say, I would trade Justin Jefferson for him, and
Oh,
I would probably right now, just because of probably the rest of the season, I'd probably trade Jamar Chase for him, which is just crazy because those two
yep.
have been kind of like untouchable in fantasy for 2 or 3 years now.
So listen to this. I did a we did a what do you call it when you're in a dynasty league and you start over like you nuke the league basically in sleeper and you just start over and you do a draft. You were
Yeah,
in that league. That's the league we talked about week one that we started over and you
yeah,
left.
yeah.
In that draft, I just have to talk about Malik Neighbors even more here
You picked
because
him at the 101.
I would have, but no, my pick was the 108, okay?
Okay.
And I took Brock Bowers there. At the 109, Neighbors is still there, and I'm telling myself, I have to trade up and get Neighbors. Like he in my eyes, I was gonna take him before Bowers, but I felt like Bowers was gonna go before him. So I
Mhm.
took Bowers first with every intention to trade back up and get Neighbors, and I did it. I gave up my first the next year, my first in the rookie draft the next year to get Neighbors. Here's the crazy thing. Joe Burrow is still there, and a lot of people are like, "It's a super flex. Like, how is Joe Burrow not getting picked?" I took Malik Neighbors over Jameer Gibbs. I took Malik Neighbors over CeeDee Lamb, and I took Malik Neighbors over Amon St. Brown and Joe Burrow. And so traded up, got Malik Neighbors. That has to
Did
be.
you trade your 202 and
I
a
traded.
future first?
I traded my 203 and
203.
future first
Wow.
and so the guy that I traded with, he got Joe Burrow at the 203. That was his first pick in the draft, and he's feeling good. He's like, okay, I
Yep.
got I got a
Yep.
stud QB, and he's got that future pick. He ended up turning that future pick plus another pick of his into Jamar Chase. And so then the argument was kind of made of like, okay, did he win that deal? Because he just got a future pick from me, was able to turn all of his picks into Jamar Chase. But I don't know. I still, like we just said, I think I choose Malik Neighbors over Jamar Chase at this point.
Yeah, but you gave up too much value, I think. That's the problem. It's like you have your guys and you love, like for you, fantasy football is so much about watching your favorite players play and succeed. So I think maybe you got the best player possibly in fantasy, but that's a lot of value. But would Malik Neighbors have made it then? He probably would have made it.
To 203, I don't know. There's
Who?
that's the other question.
So there was
So
only four picks in between you,
yeah, so it's a 10-person league, and
and there's
Jameer
Joe Burrow, Jameer Gibbs. Who else was available?
St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb,
And so those guys
those.
all went in the in
Mhm.
that tournament. You might have been able to.
And so it's the question is, would somebody have taken Neighbors, St. Brown, or the people that took the receivers? Who would they have,
Mhm.
where would they have valued him? Obviously, after the first 2 weeks, I think people are valuing Neighbors
Yeah.
super high, but that's probably my guy I want in every league at this point because he can have Tommy DeVito, he can
He's
have a
like
washed up.
He's 23 and he's almost quarterback proof, which is just kind of crazy.
Yep.
There's really like Justin Jefferson has been kind of the only quarterback proof player. Maybe Jamar Chase and now Malik Neighbors. Okay. All right. So we're did we guess the Cowboys to win or the Giants?
We chose the Cowboys,
Okay,
which,
yay. So we're 2-3 or 2-1.
yep.
Um,
Uh, we
what about
chose
Wandell? What
Chicago.
what do you think about Wandell Robinson?
Oh my goodness. I mean, he's putting up numbers like neighbors at times, but um, yeah, he's from Kentucky and he played with Will Levis, so it's kind of fun. I was a big Will Levis fan. Now, obviously, I'm a Cam Ward fan, but it's fun watching Robinson because I know him and Will are close, and uh, I mean, he seems to be turning on the Jets, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a deep bomb that Russ threw to him that had Russ not overthrown him. I mean, his fantasy points last week would have been through the roof.
Oh
So,
man. I've always liked him. I thought he's good. He gets a lot of targets. He gets open underneath. Those are just the kind of PPR high floor players. But through 2 weeks with Russell Wilson, he looks like the number two target in an
yep,
offense that is throwing the ball a lot. I think he's got a lot of fantasy value moving forward.
absolutely.
Okay. Lions, Bears. Did we pick the Bears? I think we picked the Bears. Oh,
We
please say.
did, and I don't know why in the world
I
we
don't.
did.
That was probably me. I probably overthought it, and I'm so sorry for anyone who watched me pick the Chicago Bears.
I think we
Wow.
wanted the revenge game, Ben Johnson against his former team, and
Well,
no,
there
the
was a revenge game, but it was not in that direction. That offense
and
threw the ball all over the field. Absolutely crazy. Amon-Ra St. Brown caught 3 touchdowns, and he got
insane.
tackled on the 1 yard line. He almost
Yep,
had 4 touchdowns in that game. I
insane.
played him,
Tesla's looking good too.
dude.
He's got his new nickname now, like Supercharger or whatever they're calling him.
Uh,
Um,
I hadn't seen that, but he's got back-to-back incredible one-handed catch. That offense looks. I mean, that was crazy. The amount of points
yep.
and the way they threw the ball over. All right, can't believe we got that wrong. Caleb Williams moving forwards. Kind of looked like last year Caleb Williams a little bit in that game.
Yep. I don't know. I traded him away in a league that I had him in, and I think I'm off the Caleb Williams train, but a lot of people can make a case for, I mean, he's young, he's got
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, like he's gonna turn it on. And Rome Odunze looks fantastic. Like
I played against him in almost every league this week. Oh, absolutely was not expecting him to have 2 touchdowns, 100 yards or whatever he had. Just
insane. Yeah, he's someone I'm considering targeting because he does seem like that's his go-to, Caleb Williams' go-to.
yeah.
Um, I've got a friend, Shaq, who we've talked about here, and we'll be talking to him later. But he sent me a trade for he wants Marvin Harrison, and he sent Romo Dunze in the trade, and I'm kind of considering it, which sounds wild because Marvin Harrison was a top tier receiver.
Kyler Murray is not targeting him. I've actually traded him away in every dynasty league. I targeted him in every league. I was like, I want to have Marvin Harrison Jr. and then draft Arch Manning and just like that will just be awesome. And that's who I grew up watching, right? Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison. Nope, I have
Yep,
traded him away. Just doesn't get enough targets. Not
yep.
consistent. All right, Rams Titans. I picked the Rams, but did you put the Titans in for our pick?
I chose the Rams. You talked me into it, and I was gonna change that also last minute. Glad I didn't. Rams were the better team. Puka, oh my goodness, like just the way that Sean McVay can.
My top three wide receivers for the rest of the year are CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, and Malik Neighbors. I think those are the
Yep,
three competent quarterback, high target. I think those are the three that if I could pick any three, those would be the three I'd have the rest of the season.
I think I'd agree with you. I mean, Puka it's just insane. Like I was at the game last week in Nashville and just seeing them dial up plays to get him the ball, like that's who you want on your fantasy team. When the offense is literally drawn up to get him the ball
And
and he
Sean
does.
McVay drawing it up and
Yep.
Matthew Stafford throwing lasers. When you watched him live, did you get the feeling that he is not very fast?
I mean,
When I've watched him, I've been like, he's pretty open, but he's not Malik Neighbors. He's not a fast athlete, but he kind of seems to be open and catches everything. So I don't
yeah.
know if you noticed that.
It, I mean, I don't know because I don't know if you watched. Did you watch the game this past week, the Titans Rams?
Not the whole game. I watched NFL
Because
Red Zone and then watched the highlights after.
yeah, because there was a play that he had that he looked pretty quick. Um,
Was it the
so
handoff or
yes, yes,
I did not think that. I felt like everyone was chasing him down from behind when I watched that.
but he was gone. But also I thought we had him in the backfield. I was like, oh, we've
Yeah.
got him, and then he's gone. So
Crazy. All right. Did we pick the Patriots or the Dolphins?
we chose the Patriots. We got that one right.
All right. Okay. Trayvon Henderson. Are you targeting him or trading him away?
I think I'm targeting. I think that's still someone that I believe in. Uh, I'm pretty bummed. I benched Ramondre in a few leagues last week, and
I think
I think
as
I
everyone
started,
did.
and I think I started
Oh,
Travion, and that was a bad move. But yeah, I still believe in Travion. How about you?
I definitely believe in him talent, but is it going to be how many weeks into the season until he's getting 50% of the snaps? Is
Mhm.
there any Dolphins players that you fully trust the rest of the season?
Nope, not a single one.
I don't even know if I trust Devon Achane
That's
because Tua's got to stay healthy for
Yep.
him to. He's the closest thing to someone I would trust moving forwards. But the offensive
He is
line, the team doesn't look like they care about Mike McDaniels at this point.
Achan is the only Dolphins player I have in any leagues, and that's the only first person I'm touching from that team.
Yeah. Tough fantasy situation. 49ers
hmm
Saints, we picked the 49ers, right?
We did not.
What?
And if you need to watch our segment back
Oh
because
no.
I remember us talking it out. That this was one of the ones we talked through, and
I
we
think
said,
you
okay,
need to make
Brock Purdy.
you got to make the calls from now on. We're taking a 1 week I'm taking a 1 week vacation from calling picking games. I picked the Saints, who I picked to lose
Yeah,
every game this year to
it's
to beat the 49ers.
it's because Brock Purdy was out. There was like I think you thought this was the chance for the Saints to get one in, and
I mean, it
we
wasn't
went with it.
I guess they had a chance. No, they did not. Bills Jets, we definitely picked the Bills, right?
We did.
Oh, okay, good. Josh
Shocker of the
Allen.
week.
All right, I got a shocker. Ready? Josh Allen is not a top 10 quarterback scoring this week against the Miami Dolphins. He goes
Okay.
back to back weeks because I think they're going to be up so quickly and it's not going to be a competitive game that James Cook is going to score 150 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, and one of their backup running backs is going to get a handoff, and they're just going to Josh Allen's is going to take a game off and just basically hand the ball off, and that's my prediction. And because I said that, he's going to score 45 fantasy points, but yeah,
No, you've been spot on with some of your predictions, and I I would probably agree with you. I mean, it could be after the first quarter backups are in. I mean, with that type of game.
maybe not first quarter, but Thursday night football, the Bills are a much better team than the Dolphins, and I
It's not
feel
even close.
Dolphins have not stopped the run. Yeah, I don't think it's not going to be pretty. All right, Seahawks, Steelers. I cannot believe how bad the Steelers defense has been through two
This
weeks.
was this was the shocker of the week. Like looking in my league that I'm in where we make picks, pretty much every single person picked Pittsburgh. And I feel like when you and I talked about it, you said last week, you said are the Steelers Super Bowl contenders, I think was your exact wording. And I said, I think let's give it to week 4. If they're 4-0, let's talk about that. No, they looked bad against a team that I thought was going to be bad this year. I thought the
Yeah,
Seahawks were going to be bad, and they
the,
lost to them.
I did not expect their offense to put 31 points up on the Steelers. I don't know what happened to that defense or what's going on, but it is not.
No.
That's just crazy. That was like what the second most points scored or third most. Like that was way too high scoring against not Sam Darnold's Cooper Cup. Who's their tight end? AJ
Um,
Barner. AJ
yep.
Barner.
They had some crazy names scoring touchdowns, like Horton, their rookie
Troy
receiver.
from Colorado State. Yep.
Yep, and I've got him in one of my like deep
That was
leagues,
on
but
Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey was man to man on him, I believe, when he scored that touchdown. I'm surprised. I don't know what's going on.
yep,
Tomlin's got to
it's
figure it out at some point, but tearing down the Steelers for sure, especially the defense. Ravens, Browns. We picked the Ravens. Where are you at with any Cleveland Brown running back at this point?
I'm on
Quinshawn
the ver
Judkins got to play a few snaps and looked really, really good.
Yep. He
What do you
looked
think?
good at Ohio State in that national championship. I think he, if I remember correctly, had an incredible game. And yeah, I think he's going to be the guy over Dylan Sampson. I think Dylan Sampson could be a great pass catching running back and things like that. I have them both in a few leagues. I like them both, but I will agree it's going to be tough figuring out how to kind of move forward. Um,
Jerome
I
Ford
feel,
also gets snaps. So it's just
yep, it's tough.
I kind of feel like the same with Washington's backfield. I don't know if I could start anyone from Washington's backfield this week because when Eckler goes down, which was so sad. Hate that injury. And I'm expecting, okay, Bill's going to get the 80% of the rest of the snaps for this game and move into RB1 territory. And then he played like 25% or 30% of the snaps the rest of the way, which was very surprising. Both of those
Hmm.
backfields are got some young, talented players that I think everyone in the fantasy community is excited for, but I don't know if I trust them yet.
Yeah, I think they're all worth kind of stashing because at any moment one of them could take off, you know.
Yeah,
So I've got Bill in quite a few leagues too.
yeah. Colts Broncos. Did you see that penalty to give the Colts the game at the end of the game?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Oh my gosh.
When I watched it live, I was like, "Ooh, they kind of were over the center. That's kind of sometimes a penalty." And then when they called it, I was like, "You can't. That's like the end of the game." And I know that it's like a penalty, but you just hate that. It just feels like a Kansas City Chief game. I don't know. That was disappointing. And
Yeah,
then
that
as a Titans fan, you don't want to see your division win.
no, that
Which you're
was
are the Colts the best team in your division?
I'm scared. We play them this next week at home. I'll be at this game too. And so here's my thing. After week one, I thought the Broncos looked good. I was like, okay, Titans lost to a good team.
Hmm.
The Broncos go play the Colts. I think the Broncos are just going to beat the Colts, which we picked the Broncos, and the Colts win. Now I'm kind of scared about this game. I'm like, okay, I thought we had a chance to beat them, but they just beat the team we lost to, and I don't know. Daniel Jones looks good.
Yeah, you guys are at least a year away because you have to add some weapons on offense. Once you get
We
some
need
weapons on offense, you guys
we
need to
need
draft, sign wide receivers, tight ends.
we need offensive linemen. We need
Yeah,
to give him more time. Yeah,
your
but
offensive line has not looked terrible. It actually looks like a competent, like mid-tier offensive line.
I'd
It's
say mid tier. Yeah,
which
I just
which if
he
you have players getting open is not terrible. When you have nobody getting open and Cam Ward has to stand back there for 3 to 4 seconds every single play, it's not ideal.
no, it's tough.
All
Yeah,
right, Cardinals Panthers. Who do we pick?
we chose Arizona. Yep, we chose
Okay.
them. Because the Cardinals, they won.
All right, and then we picked the Eagles over the Chiefs, right?
We did not.
We picked the Chiefs.
We picked the Chiefs. I don't know.
I think I
We
said Eagles and you said no, Mahomes is on a tour to come back. And I was like, honestly, it's going to be a close enough game. You're probably right, if I remember correctly. But
we're
either
gonna have
way,
to. Yeah, we're gonna have to watch that back because I don't remember
basically,
either.
whenever one of us is confident, we have to go with the other choice.
Yep.
The, the,
Outside of picking against Tennessee, that's gonna be tough again. Choosing the Rams last week felt like I had to. You sold me pretty hard, but I don't know. This week's gonna be tough.
what did you think about the Chiefs' offense? 2 weeks now of not explosive, can't run the ball. That's the thing. They gave up. Got rid of Joe Tooney, their left guard. Brought in some better pass protector tackles. They can't really run the ball, and they
Oh,
don't have anybody who's like a man beater at this point. I think here's my hot take. Go get Rashid Rice in every league because he's not coming back from injury. It's a suspension. So he's going to be healthy, ready to go, doesn't have all the stuff. And the way they were connecting, a year ago before he got hurt, weeks 1 and 2, if you can go get Rashid Rice, if your team's in a spot where you can go get him,
is he coming back week 3 or week 4? Is it week 4?
it's a 6 game suspension.
Oh,
So week
it's okay.
7.
Okay.
So don't
Yeah.
trade Malik Neighbors for him. But if you can get Rashid
No.
Rice cheap, do it.
Yeah. Who are you trading for him? Where's the value?
So you want to sell high. See, like Wandale Robinson pops in my head. I feel like over the, if you have someone like Quentin Johnson, that's someone who last week we said sell high. He caught another touchdown, but besides that one catch, it's like a 40-yard touchdown. That was all of his fantasy points for the day. If you can trade Quentin Johnson right now for Rashee Rice, I think including the 4 extra games that Quentin Johnson has coming on, Rashee Rice scores more fantasy points for you over the rest of the season, even with Quentin Johnson having 4 additional games. That would be my
That's
prediction. So if you
that's
can trade
bold.
someone like that, I would say Keenan Allen, Ladd, they're going to get way more targets. Quentin Johnson's going to have a couple of good games, but yeah, that would be
I
someone like that.
I, I don't know. I think because I talked about Quentin Johnson last week, and I think we disagreed a little bit. He put up numbers. I will agree. I watched the entire game, and it was basically just that 40-yard touchdown. To me, he kind of reminds me of Josh Palmer, who I had in fantasy when Justin Herbert. It felt like every week randomly Josh Palmer's getting points and he's kind of flying under the radar. I don't know. Quentin Johnson, like you,
Josh Palmer was like a wide receiver 4. I think Rashee Rice is going to be borderline wide receiver 1. So you might only have him for 7 regular season fantasy games, but I would rather, moving forwards, not a wide receiver 3, 4 flex guy, but a locked in
yeah,
wide receiver 1. And if the Chiefs keep
it's great.
losing, they're going to have to win. They're going to be more, and if they can't
Airing it
run the
out.
ball, yeah, we'll see. Falcons, Vikings. I'm pretty sure we picked the Vikings. We are terrible at picking this game. Didn't we pick the Vikings?
We chose the Vikings.
Oh my
And we talked about
goodness.
this game already a little bit, but yeah. The
No,
Falcons pass rush. Oh my gosh.
yeah. That guy from Georgia that they drafted, that's an athlete. He is,
Uh, and James Pierce from the Tennessee Volunteers. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Both of
long.
them.
All right. Okay, how about these Monday night games? Oh my goodness. That Buccaneers Texans game was Baker Mayfield is my favorite player of all time. He's moved past just about everybody else. Hurt knee, no offensive line, gutsy. Do you see his 4th and 10 to win
Yes,
the game,
that run,
basically?
the yes. Oh,
Oh,
I was watching it with my wife and I was I just talked to Granddaddy. I talked to and your dad. They were watching the game together, and I talked with them a little bit that night. And I was just thinking about all of y'all, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna lose this game. And then
my
Baker,
Oh man, my son, he stayed up. This is the first time that he's gotten to stay up and watch like a Monday night game. He's 6, but he was almost in tears when the Texans scored the touchdown. And my wife was like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "I'm so sad the Buccaneers are going to lose." And she's like, "Game's not over." And so he was jumping up and down and so happy when the game over. And that was like such a fun dad-son memory watching that. And so thank you, Baker Mayfield, if you ever listen to this for that game. I will say Tampa, no left tackle, no right tackle. We only have one offensive lineman playing in their one of our starters playing at their actual position right now. Good pass rush from Houston. That was a tough after the first 2 drives when Luke Gedeke got hurt. Offense definitely had to earn everything by whatever means necessary. So
getting creative.
I can't wait until both Wirfs and Gedeke are back healthy. But I
Yeah,
think our offense is going to be good.
y'all look good. Y'all's team looks so good.
Chargers, Raiders. Chargers surprisingly low scoring, 20-9. Marion Hampton, let's talk about him.
23 yards, I think,
And
rushing
he's kind of Najee Harris got more snaps this week. Is it
towards the
some?
end, and he had a fumble in a big moment too.
John Harbaugh does not like people who fumble the football. I after week 1 was a target him in every dynasty league. If somebody's really scared and you can get really good value, I say you still do it. But I'm a little bit more nervous now after this second game. I was surprised that he didn't get 25 carries and run for 110 yards. So
Agreed. I've got him in a league and I've got an offer for him out right now. Would you take Devonte Smith and a second in a dynasty league, a second next year, and Devonte Smith for Amari and Hampton?
no,
Yeah, I
I
don't think
I
so
don't
either.
I don't think I
But
would.
but if he keeps fumbling it and looking the way he is, it could go the other way.
Yeah. We should do a segment where you read off all the trades because I know you have 14 teams and I know you have a ton of trades that you haven't even responded to. That's a segment we're going to do at some point where Craig reads all the trades that he has.
Yep, and we can talk about if I should accept it or not. But we'll make sure we don't do any that involve Amika and you in the deal.
I'm not even offering for him at this point. You want the sun, moon, the stars, and my firstborn, and I don't think I'm ready to give all that. All right. So let's throw out a few buy low, sell highs. If you just made it all the way to here and you're thinking, hey, I want to see the trades that Craig has. Who are some of your people who are trying to buy low on Marion Hampton? Who are some of the people you're trying to buy low on?
I mean, Jamar Chase, this might be the lowest ever
If you got a
because
contender, 100% agree.
he's got a backup quarterback. He hasn't put up a ton of numbers this year already. Like even we just said it earlier, we're quite possibly putting neighbors over him right now. So it kind of gives us an opportunity to go get somebody like Jamar Chase right now.
I think
So
if he goes the next 2 weeks and he puts up single digit scoring for a couple games in a row, I would try to trade for him in every single dynasty league just because um, as long as the person isn't a rebuilder, but they don't have Chase if they're a rebuilder,
yep, I would agree.
definitely.
I think another person, and then I'm curious who some of your thoughts are, but another person that's a good buy low option is probably Patrick Mahomes. Um, I don't know. Where do you think his value's at? Because I traded him away in the offseason,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm kind of sitting in that spot.
I definitely think his fantasy value is down from where it should be. I think come week 6, Worthy's healthy, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce, Rasheed Rice. I think that he's kind of where we said before the year we thought he was going to have a big year fantasy, and then obviously hasn't started off. I would try to get him, especially a couple weeks from now. Especially if he's down, definitely try to get him because I think he's going to have a big end of the season.
Hmm.
Especially if they go, let's say over the next 4 games until Rasheed Rice comes back, let's say they go 2-2 or three. Even if they go 3-1 over the next 4 games, they're 3-3 when he comes back. They're going to be in gotta win games, throwing the ball. They're going to be much more aggressive. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think Patrick Mahomes. That's a good one. All right, who's
All
your
right.
sell highs?
I mean, you said it earlier. Quentin Johnson is
Yeah,
probably one. Even Bill, I've got him in a few leagues, and he's one where it's like I'm
I
currently starting him in a league this next week, but I'm like,
I
should I
kind of
sell
like
him?
that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they're high on the name and they see Eckler's out and they're like, oh my gosh, like he's the guy
If
to
you
get.
Okay, people are way too excited about him for the fact that he's never really done anything. Like
Yep.
two good carries in preseason and a fun name, and he's kind of like one of those fantasy guys who I think the community has pushed his value past where it should be. Eckler gets hurt. I think you could get way more than you should be able to before he's done anything, that's kind of like hedging your bets. Like, like if you do a sports bet and they offer you a buyout at some point, this is like a great buyout window where his value could go up, but you can get way more value than you put into him. Like I know people who he wasn't even drafted in their rookie drafts. They added him
Hmm.
after the rookie drafts,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're getting offers of first round picks for him. So I
Yep.
think that is a excellent sell high that most people wouldn't think. I would throw out Debo Samuels and Ramondre Stevenson. I think both of those are players who, by this time next year, Ramondre Stevenson, does he have any fantasy value? I don't know. Henderson at some point is going to be maybe not the goal line guy, but the guy. And so I think he had a big, big week against one of the worst defenses in football. Now is the time to see what value you could get for him. Debo Samuel, at some point, Scary Terry's going to kind of get more on track. And
Hmm.
Marcus Mariota is not going to throw the ball to Debo a ton if he comes in and he has to play a couple weeks. If you can get some value for Debo, I think I already said my buy lows, which was Rasheed Rice. If you can get him, Trayvon Henderson.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So here's not a segment, but here's just a question. What do you think about Travis Hunter as a fantasy dynasty and just as a player? What do you think? Because he played some goal line secondary plays,
I
still playing 50-60% of the snaps on offense.
so I watched a highlight. I was watching some of the game. Um, I think that was during the same hour as the Titans game, and so I'm at the Titans game, just defeated, and I'm like watching on YouTube TV trying to watch this Bengals game, and I think I saw a few plays in a row where he was guarding Jamar Chase. Correct me if I'm wrong,
I
but I'm
believe
pretty
so.
sure he was guarding him. And then I'm also seeing him on offense. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is wild because we saw him do it in college and we heard like when the Jags traded up for him, we heard they want to play him on both sides. And that's what he wanted. He wanted to go to a team that would do that. A lot of teams were saying, no, we're
Mhm.
only going to play him defense or whatever. Um, the value in fantasy is where I'm nervous. I think because of him playing both sides, I think I'm staying away from him. Um, I don't know.
I,
Your
I
thoughts?
agree. I agree completely. I didn't draft him in any leagues. If I had him in any leagues, after as the hype continues, even like through now, I feel like the hype is way above his ceiling as a player.
Hmm.
So I would say fantasy dynasty, the name carries more value, and the idea of the per player carries more value than what he does. But I think for the Jaguars, them playing him 60% of the snaps on offense and third downs, goal lines, I think I felt like they gave up a lot and they drafted him early. After kind of watching it through a couple weeks, I'm like, that's like an asset. That is actually like a player who, on offense, when they need an extra guy, he's out there. On defense, when they need a stop, he's out there. he is a playmaker. He is an incredible athlete. So it's really going to be interesting to see, does his body hold up the whole season, and does he continue to be like an asset? And Liam Cohen much prefers. I kind of was nervous about Brian Thomas's value because last year he was deep shot, deep across the middle, bigger, faster, stronger. And Liam Cohen's offense is 10 yards and under, which I
Hmm.
felt like probably didn't lean towards Brian Thomas's value as much. And I think we've seen that through 2 weeks. His targets are still there, but his yards, catches, touchdowns, haven't been there. Could be a good buy low in Dynasty if somebody gets too nervous. But I think even on offense, this Travis Hunter is going to be useful for screens and some of the stuff that Liam Cohen likes to do. So
Hmm.
yeah. All right. Do you have any waiver wires for this week that you've put in? It's literally what I was doing just before we started recording this, was making sure I had all my waiver wires in order across all my leagues. How real quick, you have 14 leagues. How often do you forget to put in for waiver wires just because you're busy and you have too
There's
many leagues?
Yeah, definitely have too many leagues, but there's definitely some that I just don't prioritize like others. And so, or if I'm not like high on certain waiver wires at that week, I'll just stay off of it. But um my ESPN redraft league that I'm in, immediately after last night's game, I'm looking at like who am I targeting? And it didn't open until today for us to start doing it. And so I put in for Daniel Jones because he is a free agent, and I lost Joe Burrow. That's one where there was quite a few quarterbacks in that league. You know, in redraft leagues, there's always going to be a lot of quarterbacks, especially if it's not a super flex. And this league that I'm in, it has you can only have two quarterbacks on your roster, so there's a roster limit. So that allows for a lot of quarterbacks to be free agents constantly. And so I was debating between CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence. There's a bunch of options, but surprisingly enough, I'm going with Daniel Jones, and so I put that in my waiver wire. Other players, if Wendell Robinson, however you say his name, if he's in there,
Wandale
uh,
Robinson.
I picked him up actually last week in two leagues. And so I don't even know if he's available at this point because most leagues he's probably already on someone's team,
Yeah.
but he's definitely someone I'd be getting. And that's kind of my two right now. I'm gonna look as soon as we finish this. I've got to lock in before waivers, start the next early morning. I got to lock in some. What about you?
Okay. What is you named two of my guys? Who is the wide receiver two for the Tennessee Titans? How do you say his name?
Alec Ayumaner, and my goodness, I'm glad you brought him up. I hopefully we can get him on the podcast at some point because I'm a huge fan. In college at Stanford, he tore up Travis Hunter. If we want to talk about Travis Hunter for a second,
I think I saw
Alec,
that. I saw some of those highlights.
one of Travis Hunter's, if not worst games ever, was against Alec. And the fact that we got him after we got Shamir DK, I think we got Alec in the fourth round. Um, he looks like a wide receiver one. I'm taking him over Calvin Ridley. I'm starting him at this point in leagues where you've got like deeper flex or whatever. I'm starting Alec because that is Cam Ward's go-to. Like throughout the game, he is targeting him. He would have had an insane catch week one had Brian Callahan challenged it. First off, Cam Ward, I don't know if you saw his touchdown pass to Alec, but my goodness, Cam Ward looked incredible. But Alec is just coming down with
That's
some
the one where
big
he threw it across the field. Like,
did
oh my
everything
goodness.
you're not supposed to do, but
When he threw it, I could the arm, the power to throw it that far was pretty crazy. And he put like
yep,
a lot of loft on it too. Yes, that was a great throw. Okay,
yeah.
he's someone I don't. The teams, when they play good teams or with good offenses where it's going to be higher scoring, that's when I would want to start him. But your defense is pretty good, and if they're holding teams into these kind of slugfest games, I feel like his target volume is going to be a little capped. But I agree, he's someone that I have on a couple waivers.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think about Troy Franklin?
I've okay. I am so high on him, and it could be my wife is an Oregon Ducks fan, and he played with Bo Nix, and so in my development league that I've talked about, my Debbie league, I'm always watching guys in college and trying to find people I
Mhm.
want in the pros. Troy Franklin was someone that I got in that league when he was in college, and I've been watching him for a while. I'm a big believer. Seeing what he's doing now with Bo Nix, I've got Troy Franklin in quite a few leagues because everybody's got their guys, and he's one of mine that I've been
Hmm.
targeting for a while because you could get him basically as a free agent in a ton of different leagues, dynasty and redraft. And yeah, I'm high on Troy Franklin. Glad you brought him up because I didn't even think about him.
He looks like their wide receiver one based on first target reads, based on the way they've schemed stuff. He actually like he's someone I'm more confident in adding, like putting more value, like using up your waiver, fab money, whatever it is, and saying, I think he's going to be someone who I can start in the flex a lot of the season, which is a little surprising. I would have thought it was only Courtland Sutton was a kind of go-to guy, but he through 2 weeks, he looks like the more consistent wide receiver on their team, which is very surprising to me. I will say
Yep.
this, as I look through our waiver wire in our dynasty league, your flex in our dynasty league is like I've always said, like you don't have enough players in our dynasty league to fill all your flex spots. It's basically everyone on the waiver wire that's kind of blown up the first 2 weeks is kind of who you have sitting. That's a couple of the names we just named are some of those guys who you were higher on than anyone else. So I think you know
It's
what
it,
you're.
it's pretty crazy. I'm looking at it right now. Now that you're saying that, Alec Amika, I was so stoked to get in the second round, and then Troy Franklin. You're so right.
So you drafted very well and you found some very good value there. All right, if you had to pick one Washington running back besides Bill to add for waivers because you were in a 16 team league and you had who what running backs have been hurt? You had Austin Eckler and you had another running back who got hurt. Who would you put in because you thought was going to get more touches? Jeremy McNichols or Chris Rodriguez, if I'm saying their names right.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you can't go wrong with either. I'd almost put in for both because it's one of those toss-ups where you don't know which way it's going to go. Being a Titans fan, McNichols played with us, and I think our nickname for him in preseasons was Superman. And I mean, he makes some crazy plays. He plays with an intensity, like he fights for the extra yards, that kind of stuff. So I really like him. I'd probably go him over Chris Rodriguez, but that's just because I know more about him.
Yeah, Rodriguez was also a healthy scratch from this past game, so I think he's the safer bet. He was a buck, but Bucks drafted him fifth or fourth or sixth round at some point, and I don't even think he made our roster. And then I think you guys signed him from our practice squad, if I remember correctly, something like that. Or maybe it was the 49ers who signed him initially, but yeah. Okay. All right, I like that. I think we've covered a lot. You want to talk about week 3 real quick?
Yeah, let's lock him in.
Let's lock them in. So basically, I'm going to let you make all of the decisions. And I think as the weeks go on, you kind of start to get a better feel for who some teams are. But all right, Thursday night.
Let's
I
see
think
here.
I
So,
think I think we're going to go with the Bills over the Miami Dolphins since we both said the game would be over by the second half.
absolutely.
Okay, no need to talk about it. Fantasy. Besides James Cook, is there anybody that you think and Devon Achane that we think has a good game this like a locked in? You play them this week.
No, I don't feel good on either sides.
I would agree. I'm starting Josh Allen because you can't not start him, but I'm not expecting the 4 touchdowns he did against the Ravens. Falcons, Panthers.
So I think earlier when we were talking about the Bucks game, I said Atlanta pass rush because y'all played them week 1. Y'all played the Texans week 2, and so I was mixing up the games, but still the Falcons pass rush is just dominant. I don't see how we choose Carolina, and unless you can convince me another way, I think Atlanta wins that game.
Not going to try to convince you. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Panthers look like 2 easy wins for the Bucks this year.
Bryce Young put up some fantasy points though last week, I will
But
say.
Bryce Young is good at football. And Tet, what do you think about Tet so far?
He put up some good points too. I
He passes the eye test for me of looking like a big athletic, maybe even quicker Drake London type feel.
Yeah.
So
Who's your wide receiver one from the rookie class this year? Just real fast. What's your quick gut?
now Emeka Ibuka, but
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I agree, but Tet I think was a lot of people's.
I was really nervous. Ibuka. The Bucks don't usually initially start seasons relying on rookies. Just historically, like even Chris Godwin when we drafted him looked like one of our best receivers, and he played like 30% of the snaps until the end of the season with injuries. It's just kind of the way that they've handled rookies. They just don't start them from the beginning. So that was
Mhm.
my concern. But yeah, no, He looks good. He had that one drop, sort of drop like, at the end of the Texan games, but besides that, very good. Okay, I'm in
Yep,
no agreement. I disagreement with the first two picks. I think we're going to both agree with the third pick.
absolutely. I'm locking it in. Green Bay, Cleveland. Is that the game you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
We're going Green Bay. I am all in on them. I wish that I had like put money on them before the year because I really was high on them. I think my Super Bowl pick, I don't know if I said it last week, but I'm going to say it this week. It's the Packers and it's the Ravens. It is and the Bills look better than the Ravens right now, but I just think the Ravens with Lamar and Derrick Henry,
Playoff football. How do you stop the two of them running the ball?
I just don't see how you do. So I'm
Lamar's.
all in.
I think this is the fewest rushing yards all season Lamar has had in his career during the regular season, and then come playoffs, whenever he needs to, he runs and they're good.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
So good.
Texans, Jags.
This one's interesting. I think the Texans look better than I expected, but I think the Jags also look better than I expected. It is in Jacksonville, but I don't know that that changes much. I don't know that they have a home field advantage there. Um,
Duval.
I think I'd go Texans. Like that's my gut. But what do you think? I mean, you just played them, so you know them better than anyone.
Well, whatever I think, whatever my vote is, you got to go the other one. I like. I'll go with the Texans.
Okay.
These are your division teams. You know these teams.
Yeah. I don't like either.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't feel confident either way.
all right, let's go to the next one. Cincinnati and Minnesota. In Minnesota, wow, they're it might be backup
Carson Wentz,
quarterbacks.
Jake Browning. Oh,
Yep, it might, and I feel bad because you got two wide receiver one top names, Jefferson Chase. That's going to be a fun matchup, but then you got the quarterbacks, and I just don't know. I think you got to go Minnesota.
do you? That offense has been really bad. It's the offensive lines cannot generate holes and can't protect the quarterback. And then you have who's the rookie Stewart that the Bengals drafted
Shamar.
looks competent next to Trey Hendrickson. So if you vote Vikings, go for it. But
You know
I don't.
what? Here's what we're gonna do in honor of Matt. Matt, if you're listening, we are choosing the Bengals for you because,
We are redeeming our.
and I know you're probably upset because we chose not to choose them when they had Joe Burrow, but we're choosing them. We're choosing them now. Okay.
Who do you have more confidence in, Carson Wentz or Browning?
Neither. Absolutely
If you
neither.
had to pick one for the last drive of the game to win you a game, Super Bowl.
I'm choosing whoever has. I can't even say that because they have one has Jefferson, one has Chase.
Which
I
offensive
think I'm
line is
choosing
better?
Wentz. Wentz has won a Super Bowl. Browning has not. We'll go with that.
My thing is Carson Wentz, if he can stay healthy, is a good quarterback. Like he's not a bad quarterback. He just can't stay healthy, and he has a little bit of the Will Levis, like he tries to do too much and fights for every inch like it's the last play of the game, and so can't
Yep.
as a result gets hurt. But yeah, all right, Steelers Patriots.
All right, I'm going Patriots. I have lost all confidence in the Steelers and Mike Vrabel at home in New England. I don't know. You can change my mind because I think
I don't want to.
this is a game that could go either way. But I do
Where
not feel good about the Steelers.
where is our ranking in this pick league thing that we're doing?
Pretty bad. We will talk about that. Let's talk about that after week 3 because I have full confidence. We're going to get 100% this week. We're going to absolutely dominate.
But we're just picking the gimme so far. So I think that at this point it's going to just be
I
everyone
don't
else is going to pick the same thing.
I don't know that Houston and Jacksonville is a gimme. I don't know that Cincinnati and Minnesota is a gimme.
Drake May, do you think Drake May is a good quarterback?
I don't know yet.
I think he's a good quarterback, but he doesn't have weapons also.
Has no weapons.
He has a half of Stephon Diggs, Mario Douglas, Hunter Henry. Yeah,
Yeah, nobody.
no. Okay.
So who are we choosing?
You said Patriots.
What do you think?
I can't believe the Steelers defense doesn't figure it out
All right,
at some point.
let's
That's my
let's
thought.
let's go
And
Pittsburgh.
but if they, I don't know. I don't know. I
Let's
don't
go
know.
Pittsburgh. I will say I have more faith in Aaron Rodgers than I do in Drake May for this game.
Okay. And because of that, the Patriots are going to win, and I'm going to regret
Yep.
saying anything.
Yep.
Oh man, Rams, Eagles. Two teams that I don't feel like their offenses have looked very good through 2 weeks.
I really want to go the Rams. I think the Eagles, they're both 2-0 actually, aren't they? Um, I think maybe I'm biased because I just watched them, but I don't know. Puka, Matthew Stafford, I don't know, just that. I don't know. Maybe I'm an Eagles hater. Maybe that's what it is. I just can't get on the Eagles bandwagon. And I know they just won the Super Bowl. But
The Eagles are a team that I don't feel like is a great team, but they're just so talented. Maybe it's coaching, maybe it's like game plan and scheme, but they do not strike me as a team that I'm like they're just too talented to lose games, but they're not. It's just offense is boring. Defense is like cover three every play, and still somehow because they're so good they win. So I
yep.
don't know. You pick the Rams. Let's go
I
with the Rams.
Let's lock it in.
Sean McVay is a much better coach. Maybe he figures it out. Did they lose in the playoffs barely last year to each other?
Yeah,
Didn't the
they
Rams?
looked good. They
Yeah,
almost beat them.
yeah,
Yep.
that's right. All right, Jets Bucks. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost this game because we just lost Kalijah Cansey, and I don't think we're gonna have either of our tackles, and our offense really struggled without both of them. So we have a whole week of practice to get Charlie Heck and Graham Barton and our whole offense line up to thing, but I don't feel like I would pick the Bucks, but I don't feel lock it in. We're going to win confident because
Yep.
I think our offense is going to struggle, and our pass rush was not good against the Texans. So
I don't see how we choose against the Bucks, but if I mean you're the Bucks fan, you know your team.
I'm saying picking the Bucks, but I way less confident than I would be
Okay.
if we had both of our tackles. We're good,
Yeah.
but I'm nervous.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Oh boy, we go from your team to my team. I'm the one doing the clicking, so I get to choose. The Colts look like the better team so far, but I think Alec and Cam's chemistry is just getting better and better each week. Cam looks so comfortable still. I don't believe in our coach. I don't trust his play calling. I don't trust his time management. That's where I think the you could give the edge to the Colts. But I do believe in Cam Ward. I do believe in Alec. And I feel like our defense plays well enough to where we have a chance to win this game. Our special teams, by the way, like Shamir DK from Florida, looks like our best returner that we've had in a long time. I feel so confident with him. Our kicker, Joey Sly, has been absolutely killing it. Like, I think with all of those things, I could see us pulling it out.
And with all that said, we select the Indianapolis Colts to win.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, that's what I'm picking right now. Uh-huh.
I mean, okay, the Colts destroyed the Dolphins and then beat a very good Broncos team that beat you.
Yep.
I think you guys played as good as you could hope to play against the Broncos, and you picked off Nicks, forced fumbles. I think you had how many turnovers? What was the turnovers? It was like
Four, I think,
4-0,
because he
right?
fumbled it. Yeah. Yep. No, no,
If
no.
you
Yeah.
Was it 4-0 or 4-1?
I think we had a turnover, but Cam didn't throw a pick. I'm trying to
I
remember.
think
I
it was
think someone
4-0.
fumbled it.
I think okay, maybe. So let's say 4-1. You were +3 in the turnovers and you still lost
It's bad.
to a team that then just beat this team.
All right. Yeah, I guess I'll have to. Yeah, I'm choosing the Titans. What? Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you guys keep losing, maybe you get the number one overall pick, trade back, select a bunch of receivers and tight ends, and get 15 future firsts. At this point, that's what you're like, no, we're still going to make the playoffs this year.
I think I'm off that train. I was definitely on that for a while of hoping.
Okay,
But
are you coming down? So we're what's the new prediction? Not 10 wins. What are we at now?
well, now I just want to see a good year with Cam and like show that he's our future and that we can build around that. And then I want us to improve our offensive line. I want us to get some weapons and
New coach?
yeah,
Coach and
so
offense?
yes, I want a new coach, and I don't know who I want, but I want a new coach. And so I think that's all I'm hoping for, which means I kind of want a high draft pick, which means I guess I want us to be bad this year, but I just want to see, I want a team that's fun to watch, and right now we're not quite there yet.
No, Cam Ward. I think you found a guy. So this is the first.
Yep.
This is the first quarterback in how long that you've been like, we have a young possible franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I believed in Marcus after that week 1 game
Yep,
against Jameis.
but after week 2, I don't think I believed in him. So,
Yep,
all right, Raiders, Commanders. What's your pick if Jaden Daniels doesn't play?
that's tough.
All right, let's not
Gino
lock
did
in
not
this
look good.
Let's not lock in this until we know if Jaden plays. So this is a to be announced, to be determined. If Jaden plays, I think I pick the Commanders. If he doesn't play, I might pick the
I'm
Raiders.
locking in Commanders for now, but I agree. We might change
Okay.
this after we put this out.
Okay. Broncos, Chargers. This is gonna be a good game, I think.
Really good game. I think it's in home. It's at home in LA for the Chargers. I think I'm leaning towards the Chargers after how they've been looking, but I think Bo Nix has looked great. I think
Bo Nix has not looked as good as he looked at the end of last year, I think. And because of that, I think Justin Herbert looks incredible. The Keenan Allen, Lad McConkey, I don't remember a time where Justin Herbert was throwing to people open as consistently as he's looked the first two games. Like even against the Chiefs, he was throwing to people. He wasn't throwing these like tight windows. Guys got to make a good catch because everyone's covered. He's like throwing to people who are kind of open. And so
Yep,
I'm saying Chargers too.
agreed.
Okay. Saints Seahawks.
This one's easy.
Yeah, it's so hard for East Coast teams to go all the way to the West Coast and play. And I think it's a little less hard for the West Coast coming to East because you're gaining the 3 hours or whatever. But the Saints are terrible. They're losing 3 hours, or maybe it's two. I don't know about New Orleans. Seattle. That'd
Yep,
be my vote.
agreed. Hmm.
Bears, Cowboys.
I never choose the Cowboys. I think just as much as I would say maybe an Eagles hater, which I didn't realize I was, and I might be the same for Cowboys. I think I might be a Cowboys hater, but I don't know about the Bears. I think we have to go Cowboys. It's in Chicago. I still don't see how the Cowboys lose this game.
Wait, it's in Chicago or it's in Dallas?
No, it's in Chicago, unless
What?
my
I might
unless
be looking
mine.
at it wrong. Okay, either
Okay,
way, I will say this. In a league, in a redraft league where I needed a quarterback to stream this week because of injuries to Justin Fields, I'm adding Caleb Williams against that defense because there isn't anyone better. I actually picked Caleb Williams over Daniel Jones, over Indiana Jones, because he's playing your Titans defense, which I think is not a bad defense. And I think the Cowboys defense is terrible. I don't know if he's going to put up Russell Wilson numbers, but
you might have just made me change my waiver pickup. I might have to when we hang up and finish this. I'm gonna have to go change it, and I don't know if Caleb Williams is available in that league, but if he is, you bring up a good point. Indiana Jones is going against the Titans, so
I don't like playing people who play my team. If
mhm.
at all possible, I try to avoid. Cardinals, 49ers.
49ers
Go for it.
without Brock Purdy. I don't know how we chose the Saints over them last week. We're not doing it again this week.
I think we were trying to be like, oh, we called this. No, there was
No,
no thought process. It was just stupid. Anyways, Giants, Chiefs. Do the Chiefs go 0-3 to the New York Giants?
they do. 0-3.
You heard it here first.
Malik Neighbors, I will
I,
never pick against him.
I got a hot take. Malik Neighbors, unless he makes one or maybe two really, really special plays, does not finish as a wide receiver top 24 this week
You think
because
Spagnola?
Spagnola is going to double team him, bracket him every play, and dare somebody else. Russell Wilson's going to
So
be under duress. That
so
the reason I say make special plays is because he's going to have Trent McDuffie, who is a top 5 corner, man to man with safety help.
mhm.
Russell Wilson is going to throw at the ball still. He's still going to get 8 or 9 targets. I could see him having 8 or 9 targets and making one or two special plays
Yep.
that salvage a top 24 season or game. But this would be one of the few games this year where I see him not being a top 24 finish. That's my hot
So
take.
so
Go
if you
ahead.
have Wandale Robinson, are you starting him over Malik this week then?
No, I just don't like start any non. I wouldn't want to start him either. I mean, like
Yeah.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith against them didn't look great. Lad McConkey, when they played the Chiefs, they took away the reason Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen were better is because they pretty much bracketed McConkey on every passing play where it was kind of for sure. And so Malik Neighbors is such a much more special player and athlete that he can shake McDuffie and then win a jump ball. So that's where you go, okay, he could still have a big game. I think Jamar Chase has had some of those games when they played the Chiefs where he had a couple games where he was kind of smaller scoring numbers, but he had a couple games where he just made those plays where he caught a short slant and made some people miss
Hmm.
and so if Neighbors does that, he has a good game, but I could see him having a lower. But
Okay.
yeah, Chiefs win and go to 1-2 on the year.
Okay. I've got Giants.
You think the Giants are going to win?
I don't know. I just don't think the Chiefs have looked good. That
I agree.
shootout last week with the Cowboys and Giants, like the offense, but you're right, like the Chiefs defense. It's going to be an interesting game to watch.
I
I think it's going to be
listen.
close.
I would love for you to pick the Giants and be right because I would love to watch Sunday Night Football and the Chiefs lose. So yeah,
I'm going to choose the Giants if you're cool with it, but I do think Patrick Mahomes in prime time, Spagnola might shut down neighbors. I think you bring up a lot of good points,
yeah,
but I think the Giants might win that one.
yeah. I mean, the Chiefs just played the Chargers and the Eagles, two
Yep.
of the best teams in football. And if Kelsey doesn't hand an interception, they probably beat the Eagles. and Chargers game. If Xavier Worthy doesn't get Travis Kelce is the reason they're 0-2. That hot take. Travis Kelce taking out
It's
Xavier
true.
Worthy and handing the ball off. I didn't even realize it until just now.
Is
Oh
the
my goodness.
engagement too much? His mind's not
Oh,
on
he's being
football.
distracted. You heard it here first from Craig. Taylor Swift is the reason the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Lions Ravens. This is going to be a really good game. And I think this is where we find out, are the Lions week 1 Lions or week 2
Two.
Lions? I
Hmm.
think the Packers are a contender. I don't think the Bears are. Do they beat up on bad teams and struggle against good teams? It's going to be
Yeah,
a good game.
I agree. I'm going Ravens. Who are you going?
I would lean Ravens, definitely. I think Lamar Jackson has a big game. And Zay Flowers. Let's talk about Zay Flowers. I traded him away in week 1 because I thought sell high, buy low. And then week 2, again, really high usage, first read targets. Looks like a wide receiver 1
Yep.
for the Ravens, which, I mean, I don't know. Hopkins also
He's
looks
had a
good.
touchdown. He's had a
Yep.
touchdown both games.
We've always kind of said like Lamar Jackson hasn't had elite player, like elite. You know, he's had good. Like Mark Andrews is not an elite tight end. He's been a really good tight end. And
Yep.
then Hollywood Brown was a really good wide receiver. He wasn't a wide receiver 1. Is Zay Flowers his first? Like he looks really good. Offense looks really explosive.
Agreed.
They didn't need Derrick Henry at all against the Browns to score however many points they scored.
What's up, Shaq?
Hey, what's
Thanks.
up, Craig? How's it going, buddy?
Going good. Hey, thanks for joining. For everyone listening, we've got a new special segment. This is called Shaq's Special Segment, and super excited to have you on. When I think of people that know fantasy football, there's two people that come to mind, and it's you and Andrew. And now to have you on our show is awesome. So, yeah, I guess first off, tell me a little bit more. So obviously, we're in quite a few leagues together, and
Yes.
you have taken over some orphan teams, and also been a part of startup drafts and everything. I think the one team that comes to mind that's most impressive is you took over a team in one of our leagues, a dynasty league, Superflex, and it was quite possibly one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league. And you took them from worst to first, to the point where, I mean, it's pretty much a bulletproof team. So would love to just kind of pick your brain on kind of what you did, what your thought process was to kind of flip that team.
Yeah, man. So I took over the team in 2020 at the end of, I guess, going into the 2020 year. That sounds right. And just a little bit of fantasy football experience. I started in 2007. Not a clue. Didn't really watch much pro football, much of anything. And then joined a league with my local church. And we're going on year 19 now, man. So it's crazy. We just had our 19th draft last or in August last month. So it was nuts, man. But yeah, this was my second league. I think I joined in as a dynasty league. I think the first one, maybe it was the third, was that American Dynasty League, and then the national one as well. But this one intrigued me because the team was complete trash. It was so bad. I was going to go over my starting roster in 2020. I had Mitch Trubisky as a QB1, Nick Chubb. This is at the end as well. Aaron Jones, Alan Lazard, Michael Thomas, who wasn't even active, um, Marvin Jones, Dallas Goddard, hit Golden, Brandon Ayuk, um, Antonio Brown was on that team. Josh Gordon, who was not on the team, was also on that team. So it was complete trash. I remember this one distinctively because I made quite a few trades at the end of that season, which kind of put me in a position in 2021 to start progressing forward and things like that. So, but I do remember vividly that off season going into my first year as it. I ended up trading my first round pick, and it hurt so bad. There was so much excitement behind the league getting started, but I got offered a first round pick for my 110, and in this league, 109, Justin Jefferson got taken, and my pick was going to be Jerry Judy, and it hurt so badly. I remember exactly where I was at. I was in Humboldt, Tennessee, in a chicken coop in-law was showing me kind of where he worked at and things like that. And I remember making that trade with that guy and thinking, man, I know I have to do this because my team is so bad. So I ended up getting his first the next year, which ironically turned into the 101.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was Trevor Lawrence. So you think, wow, 101, that sounds great. Trevor Lawrence, and you're like, could probably go without him now. He is still on my team to this day. And then I did a few other trades that year with some guys on my team to kind of put behind. But that was the first one that I remember from my first year. And then let's see, we go to the draft. My memory of other ones. Was that same year that I had multiple firsts. I ended up trading my first round pick, which was a second overall pick, and packaged that. My plan was to take Jamar Chase. He ended up falling in our league into like the 108, 109, somewhere there, which is bonkers. My plan was to take him, but I had an offer out there to get CD Lamb and ended up going with that. So I thought that's a cornerstone piece. Jamar Chase could have just been another guy, another rookie. I was super high on him, but again, I had no clue what I was doing or what I was going through, anything like that. So yeah, and just slowly built up a juggernaut, man. One another trade that comes to mind. I had to tank in 2020. I had to tank in 20. All right, I didn't have a choice in 2020. I didn't have anybody. I had to tank again in 2021. I remember we have this thing called the toilet bowl, which is where, if you remember that, I don't know if you've been in it, but basically where, like, if you lose, you move on. And I was the king of the toilet bowl that year. And I just remember thinking, man, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. This is so hard to build up and redo. And I ended up winning the toilet bowl that year, which is the worst possible prize. So made me think, like, hey, do I continue to want to do this? This is terrible. Like, I don't even have a starting quarterback yet. It's already been 2 years and things like that. So, all right. And then the next year I got Trevor Lawrence, had CD Lamb, started to get like a little bit of a core. But I remember that year you were competing, if I'm not mistaken, and I had to trade. I got a 23 second from you, and I got James Conner back. Or no, the other way around. I had James Conner and had to trade him to you for a 23 second. And I was like, this is awful. Like, I finally have a running back that's in his prime, is capable, but kind of one of my rules. And I think you play by this as well. If you're not competing, you need to get anybody that is within a 3 year window off of your roster. Like, they mean nothing to you. Go ahead and stockpile picks, stockpile things like that. And that's what I bought into, and I did. And what really hit my stride was a classic. I had 4 of the top 6 picks, and it owned Bijan Robinson. Ended up trading Bryce Young, traded Jackson Smith and Jigba. But I had him on my team for a bit, and then CJ Stroud was somebody I just recently most traded. But thankfully, somebody in this league was able to trade CJ Stroud. I got Patrick Mahomes back. And then what was another one that I did? I think I included Brees Hall, and she gave me McCaffrey as well. So pretty good deal in my mind. The Justin Jefferson one, I look back at that and I'm like, man, wish I would have just held on to what I had. I got Justin Jefferson, great piece, but I had to give up Drake London before he broke out, Jackson Smith and Jigba before he broke out, and Jonathan Taylor. So in my mind, that was worth about 4 first round picks that I gave up for now no longer the number one receiver. So just tough trades like that, man. That built my team. I'm going to go over it with you. I'm going to go through my lineup, and then I'll go through my bench. But my
Yeah.
starting quarterback is Mahomes, along with my super flex, which is Mayfield, and this is a 12-team league as well. And then I have Christian McCaffrey, I have Jahmyr Gibbs as my 2 running backs, and then my wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and Nico Collins. I traded for Nico last year around this time, and got Justin Fields as well when he wasn't starting. That had to give up my 26th first, Tucker Kraft, who has surprisingly done really well so far this year. And then I gave up Jalen Waddle and Javonte Williams, I believe. That sounds right. And then in my flex spots are Derrick Henry and Bijan Robinson. So crazy to me to think that Bijan is my 4th running back on my team.
Crazy.
So moving over to my bench, my quarterbacks are Russell Wilson, not great at all. Justin Herbert coming off my bench in a super flex 12-team league. Trevor Lawrence. I have Mac Jones. I have Justin Fields as well. Then going over to running backs, I had Alvin Kamara. I can't believe he's on my bench. James Conner got back from you, ironically, a few years later. Travis Etienne. This is probably one of my most favorite picks that have hit, but Devon Achane in the class of 23. I remember I think my first pick in the second round was Kendra Miller. It was so bad, and then I ended up getting Chan at like the 2-4. DeAndre Hopkins probably droppable. Mike Evans, Michael Pittman. And I feel like as Michael Pittman as my wide receiver 6, that was pretty decent. And then my backup tight ends, or my tight ends, I have Hawkinson as my starter. And then my backups are Njoku, Dallas Goedert, and Michael Mayer. Then on my taxi squad, I don't have anybody to ride home about, but I do have Travion Henderson, which last year I drafted Bucky Irving in the middle of the third, and then ended up moving Bucky Irving for a mid-first. And Travion fell. My hope originally was Travis Hunter. He got so much preseason hype. He went at the 1-3, I believe, in our league. Yeah, man. I traded a first and second round pick in 27 to get Baker Mayfield. You could argue either way on that one with my quarterback depth. But my plan is to win as many titles as I can. I was in the dog days for 3 years there, and this was the absolute worst. It was 2023 when I finally had pieces together. Well, I'll talk about this trade I made with you in a minute. And then I had everything else. And then I got to the championship and I lost by 0.42 points. And I was like, man, that was a lot of work for nothing. And so thankfully won last year. And it's still looking pretty good this year. Obviously, you never know in the playoffs. But I feel like if any injury occurs, I'm practically bulletproof with that, thankfully. But yeah, kind of one that this was in March of 2023. Are you okay if I share this one?
Yep, let's hear it.
Sorry, buddy. So Craig had just come off. I don't think you got a title, but you had a few runs. And there was another guy in our league, Nick, who was kind of running the table as well. And I don't think he had a lot of. He may have one, maybe 2 titles in our league by that point. And Craig was like, you know what? Like, I'm ready to rebuild. I've got so many old guys I need to get off my roster. And so my proposal to him was, hey, let me give you all my picks for the foreseeable future, and I will take any and every age person with value, because what my team needs right now is I need value the whole time. So the original offer, we'll go over that first, and then we'll let them know what you got if you're good with that.
Yeah.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
No, let's do it.
Okay, so Russell Wilson was on his team. Michael Evans, Derrick Henry, which at the time was probably worth right at a first-round pick. Everybody was kind of low on him. I think he had a lower year that year prior. I don't remember if it was due to injuries or what, but he was not a standout guy, if I remember right, 2022. No, he finished 4th. Okay. Anyways, who's other ones? All right, I just lost. Okay. I got Dak Prescott. I think he came off an injury. David Njoku, James Conner, and then a few throw pieces with Dallas Goedert and Antonio Gibson. So the original offer was for me to give him my 23 first, which was the 103. It wasn't mine. It was somebody else's. That turned into Jahmyr Gibbs, a 24 first and a 25 first, if I remember right. And those were mine. With the way my team was probably going to be a later team with me upcoming. It's also given a second round pick. I don't remember what pick that was. Do you?
I don't remember who I got.
Yeah, well, I don't remember. And then a third round pick and a fourth round pick. So basically every pick that draft, we go 5 rounds in that league. I'm pretty sure I may have already traded my 5th or something. Craig was very insistent on the wide receiver 18 at the time on keep trade cuts. He is no longer in the league, or he is on season in the IR, one of the two, but old Treylon Burks. There was a lot of hype, and as you see his shirt, and I'm a Titans fan as well, there was a lot of hype behind him. And I was like, there's no way this kid from Arkansas is going to be any good. We traded AJ Brown for him. things aren't going to work out. So ended up, instead of those 2 first-round picks, ended up giving him Treylon Burks, which was one of my major picks. And that was that the class of 23? I think it was.
Think so. Yeah. It's like 2 years ago.
One of the
yeah,
major,
that sounds right.
Maybe 22, 23, something like that. And that was a number 4 pick for me. I think it was 22. Let me look it up.
You're right. It was 22. Yeah.
So excuse me, the but that draft, I got Drake London in that draft as well. So yeah, he was the 104 in 2022. But that was a big move for me in solidifying that I'm just going to load my team up with guys and be able to become bulletproof. What teams can I look through and kind of see like, hey, are you still hanging on to hope that you'll compete, or do you want to go ahead and start rebuilding? And I do it from time to time. It's a lot tougher now to trade with people just because they look at my team and they're like, "You're bulletproof. I'm not dealing with you," and that's fine. But there are other teams that I know that need certain positions, and thankfully at this point, I'm pretty loaded at each position, and I'm able to give people probably more than what they could get elsewhere. So they'll usually deal with me in regards to that. But
No.
man, you need to go look.
Okay.
Trade
Is
live here on the show. You got Cam Ward.
Let's go. I tagged her. I figured she'd pull the trigger soon. I tagged her in that. Um, yeah, I
Oh,
might
you
have given
traded
up
your
too much.
position first. What, dude? Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Mi- yeah, might have given up too much, but now I've got Hampton, and I
You
believe in
got your
Ward.
guy. You're not gonna look at him like you did Traylon 3 years from now. So
Yep. Um, all right. Well, hey, thanks for joining. We'll chat more soon.
having me. See you, man.
Yep. See ya.
All right. Well, before we go, any last hot takes before we move on and end?
I think we made a few. No, I think we touched on everything.
All right. Well, again, as always, thank you guys so much for listening, sharing, commenting, letting us know what you think. I think I had an idea. We're going to invite the fans to vote. When fantasy season's over, Craig and I are going to have an episode where Craig is going to go through each of his fantasy leagues, and you guys are going to vote on which league he has to drop based on you thinking it's a waste of his time and he shouldn't be in because he's in 14 leagues and
Please,
he has a newborn at this point.
please.
So yeah, but thank you guys so much for listening and sharing, and we are having fun doing this.
Yes. Thanks, y'all.